Music has the power to move us, inspire us, and tell stories that last forever, but behind the melodies and spotlight, some of our brightest stars faced unimaginable struggles. Today, we remember 20 R&B legends whose lives were tragically cut short by AIDS. Their voices may have been silenced, but their music and legacy live on. Join us as we honor their lives, their art, and the impact they left on the world. 1. Sylvester James Jr., known simply as Sylvester, was a trailblazing singer whose powerful voice and unapologetic authenticity made him a disco and R&B icon. Born in Los Angeles in 1947, he grew up singing in gospel choirs, developing a signature falsetto that would later define his music. In the 1970s, Sylvester rose to fame with hits like You Make Me Feel, Mighty Real, and Dance, Disco Heat, becoming a symbol of freedom and self-expression for the LGBTQ+ community. At a time when few artists were openly gay, Sylvester stood proudly in his truth, challenging societal norms and inspiring countless others. His flamboyant style and electrifying performances made him a beacon of hope, particularly during the early years of the AIDS crisis. Tragically, Sylvester was diagnosed with HIV in the 1980s. Despite his declining health, he continued to perform and advocate for AIDS awareness until his death on December 16, 1988, at the age of 41. 2. Eazy-E, born Eric Lynn Wright on September 7, 1964, in Compton, California, was a pioneering figure in the world of hip-hop and a founding member of the legendary rap group NWA, known for his gritty voice, raw lyrics, and entrepreneurial spirit. Eazy played a crucial role in bringing West Coast rap to the forefront of the music industry. However, his life was tragically cut short when he became one of the most high-profile figures to die from AIDS-related complications. Eazy's journey began in the streets of Compton, where he initially made a name for himself as a hustler. But his life took a dramatic turn when he co-founded NWA with Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, MC Ron, and DJ Yella in the late 1980s. The group's groundbreaking album Straight Outta Compton became a cultural phenomenon, shedding light on the harsh realities of life in South Central Los Angeles and giving a voice to the voiceless. Eazy-E's distinctive delivery on tracks like Boys in the Hood and Easy Does made him a standout figure in the group and a symbol of West Coast rap. In early 1995, Eazy's life took a devastating turn. He was hospitalized with what he initially believed was asthma, but was later diagnosed as AIDS. On February 24, 1995, he released a public statement revealing his diagnosis, urging his fans to educate themselves about the disease and practice safe sex. His announcement shocked the world and brought much-needed attention to the AIDS crisis, particularly within the African American community. Eazy passed away on March 26, 1995, at the age of 30. His death was a profound loss to the music world and a stark reminder of the devastating impact of AIDS. 3. Arthur Russell was a visionary musician, composer, and producer whose eclectic work spanned genres like disco, R&B, avant-garde, and classical. Born on May 21, 1951, in Oskaloosa, Iowa, Russell's life was a testament to creativity and experimentation, though his career was often overshadowed by his untimely death due to AIDS-related complications in 1992. Despite his relatively low profile during his lifetime, Russell's music has since gained a cult following, and he is now celebrated as one of the most innovative artists of his era. Russell's journey began in the Midwest, but his artistic ambitions led him to San Francisco and later New York City, where he immersed himself in the city's vibrant downtown music scene in the 1970s and 1980s. He became a key figure in the experimental music community, collaborating with artists like Philip Glass, Allen Ginsberg, and David Byrne. His ability to blend genres was unparalleled. He could seamlessly move from composing minimalist cello pieces to producing infectious dance tracks. Despite his prolific output, Russell struggled to achieve mainstream success during his lifetime. He was a perfectionist, often leaving projects unfinished or unreleased. His personal life was also marked by challenges, including his diagnosis with HIV in the mid-1980s. As the AIDS epidemic ravaged New York's artistic community, Russell continued to create music, even as his health declined. He passed away on April 4th, 1992, at the age of 40. For Willie Wright was a soul and R&B singer whose music carried a deep sense of emotion and authenticity, though his career remained largely under the radar for much of his life. Born in Alabama and raised in New York City, Wright's journey as a musician was marked by perseverance and a genuine love for his craft. His smooth, heartfelt voice and introspective lyrics made him a standout artist, even if he never achieved widespread fame. Wright's musical career began in the 1960s, but it wasn't until the 1970s that he truly found his voice as a solo artist. In 1971, he released his debut album, Telling the Truth, a deeply personal project that reflected his experiences and struggles. The album featured a mix of soul, R&B, and folk influences, with Wright's warm vocals and poignant storytelling at the forefront. Tracks like Right On for the Darkness and I'm So Happy Now showcase his ability to blend social commentary with raw emotion, creating music that resonated on a deeply human level. Wright's life took a tragic turn when he was diagnosed with HIV/AIDS. Like many artists of his generation, he faced the devastating impact of the epidemic, which claimed countless lives in the 1980s and 1990s. Wright passed away in 2020, though his HIV status was not widely known during his lifetime. His death brought renewed attention to his music, as fans and critics alike began to rediscover his work and appreciate its timeless quality. 5.
You never had. Come on now. Because a friend won't say it's over and go out.
Tommy Boyce was a talented songwriter, singer, and producer best known for his work in the 1960s, particularly as one half of the prolific songwriting duo Boyce and Hart. Alongside his partner Bobby Hart, Boyce penned some of the most iconic pop and R&B infused hits of the era, including many for beloved TV rock band The Monkees. Despite his success, Boyce's life was marked by personal struggles, and his untimely death in 1994 brought attention to the devastating impact of AIDS on the music industry. Born on September 29, 1939, in Charlottesville, Virginia, Boyce's passion for music led him to a career as a songwriter and performer. In the early 1960s, he teamed up with Bobby Hart, and the duo quickly became one of the most successful songwriting teams of the decade. Their catchy, upbeat tunes capture the spirit of the times, blending pop, rock, and R&B influences. Some of their most famous songs include Last Train to Clarksville, I'm Not Your Stepping Stone, and I'm Not Your Puppet, all of which became hits for the Monkees and solidified Boyce and Hart's place in music history. Boyce and Hart also enjoyed success as performers, releasing their own albums and scoring hits like I Wonder What She's Doing Tonight and Alice Long, You're Still My Favorite Girlfriend. Their music was characterized by its infectious melodies and clever lyrics, making them favorites among fans of 1960s pop. Despite his professional achievements, Boyce faced personal challenges, including battles with depression and financial difficulties. In the 1980s, he was diagnosed with HIV/AIDS, a disease that was still highly stigmatized and poorly understood at the time. Boyce continued to work in music, but his health declined as the disease progressed. On November 23, 1994, he died by suicide at the age of 55. His death was a tragic loss and a stark reminder of the toll the AIDS epidemic took on the creative community. 6. Patrick Cowley was a pioneer and electronic musician, producer, and composer whose innovative work in the late 1970s and early 1980s helped shape the sound of disco, high NRG, and synth-driven dance music. Born on October 19, 1950, in Buffalo, New York, Cowley's talent for blending technology with music made him a trailblazer in the San Francisco music scene. His collaborations with iconic disco singer Sylvester produced some of the most electrifying dance tracks of the era, but his life and career were tragically cut short by AIDS. Cowley's journey into music began with a fascination for synthesizers and electronic soundscapes. After moving to San Francisco in the 1970s, he became a key figure in the city's burgeoning underground music scene. His technical prowess and creative vision quickly set him apart, and he began experimenting with synthesizers to create futuristic, pulsating tracks that pushed the boundaries of dance music. Cowley's big break came when he teamed up with Sylvester to flamboyant disco diva known for hits like You Make Me Feel Mighty Real. Cowley's production work on Sylvester's albums, including Step 2 and Stars, helped define the high NRG genre, a high-energy, synth-driven offshoot of disco. Tracks like Do You Wanna Funk and Stars showcase Cowley's ability to craft infectious beats and lush electronic textures, making him a sought-after producer and remixer. Tragically, Cowley's career was cut short when he was diagnosed with AIDS in the early 1980s. At the time, the disease was still poorly understood, and there were few treatment options available. Despite his declining health, Cowley continued to work on music, leaving behind a wealth of unreleased material. He passed away on November 12, 1982, at the age of 32, becoming one of the many artists lost to the AIDS epidemic. Patrick Cowley's story is one of creativity, innovation, and resilience. Though his life was tragically short, his music continues to inspire and energize, a testament to his enduring influence on the world of electronic and dance music. He remains a symbol of the vibrant San Francisco music scene and the countless artists whose lives were cut short by AIDS, but whose work lives on. 7. Fela Kuti, born Olufo Olusegun Oludetan Ransom Kuti on October 15, 1938, in Abeokuta, Nigeria, was a revolutionary musician, band leader, and political activist who became one of the most influential figures in African music. Known as a creator of Afrobeat, a genre that fuses traditional African rhythms, jazz, funk, and highlife, Fela uses music as a powerful tool for social and political commentary. His fearless critique of corruption, oppression, and injustice made him a voice for the marginalized, but also brought him into constant conflict with Nigeria's authoritarian government. Fela's musical journey began in London, where he studied classical music at Trinity College of Music. However, it was his exposure to jazz and the Black Power movement during a trip to the United States in the late 1960s that profoundly shaped his artistic and political vision. Returning to Nigeria, Fela formed his band Africa 70, later Egypt 80, and began developing the Afrobeat sound. His music was characterized by its complex rhythms, extended instrumental solos, and politically charged lyrics, often delivered in pidgin English to reach a broader audience. Fela's songs were unapologetically critical of Nigeria's military regimes, colonialism, and social inequality. Tracks like Zombie, which mocked the blind obedience of soldiers, and Sorrow, Tears, and Blood, which highlighted police brutality, became anthems of resistance. His music was not just entertainment. It was a call to action, inspiring millions across Africa and beyond. Fela's personal life was as unconventional as his music. He was a polygamist, marrying 27 women in a single ceremony in 1978. Though many of these marriages later ended, he lived boldly and unapologetically, often challenging societal norms and embracing his African identity. His flamboyant stage presence, which included performing in his underwear or elaborate costumes, became a symbol of his rebellion against Western cultural dominance. In the 1980s, Fela's health began to decline, and rumors swirled about his HIV status. At the time, AIDS was heavily stigmatized, and Fela never publicly confirmed his diagnosis. He passed away on August 2, 1997, at the age of 58. While the official cause of death was complication from AIDS, many believe that years of brutal treatment by the Nigerian government also contributed to his deteriorating health. 8. Howard Rollins was a talented actor whose work in film, television, and theater left a lasting impression on audiences. Born on October 17, 1950, in Baltimore, Maryland, Rollins was best known for his powerful performances that often highlighted themes of race, justice, and humanity. His most iconic role was as Virgil Tibbs in the television series In the Heat of the Night, a character originally made famous by Sidney Poitier in the 1967 film of the same name. Rollins brought depth and nuance to the role, earning critical acclaim and a loyal fan base. Rollins' career began in the theater, where he honed his craft before transitioning to film and television. He gained early recognition for his role in the 1978 miniseries King, where he portrayed Andrew Young, a civil rights leader and close associate of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s performance showcased his ability to embody real-life figures with authenticity and gravitas. In 1981, Rollins earned an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor for his role in Ragtime, where he played Colehouse Walker Jr., a black musician whose life is upended by racial injustice. The film was a critical success, and Rollins' performance was widely praised for its emotional intensity and complexity. This role solidified his reputation as a formidable actor capable of tackling challenging and socially relevant material. Tragically, Rollins' life was cut short when he was diagnosed with AIDS. At the time, the disease was still highly stigmatized, and Rollins kept his diagnosis private. He passed away on December 8, 1996, at the age of 46. His death was a profound loss to the entertainment industry and a reminder of the devastating impact of the AIDS epidemic. 9.
Oh no, we could dance and party all night, and
Jermaine Stewart was a singer, dancer, and performer best known for his 1986 hit single, We Don't Have to Take Our Clothes Off, a catchy, upbeat anthem that celebrated self-respect and restraint in the midst of the hedonistic 1980s. Born on September 7, 1957, in Columbus, Ohio, Stewart's smooth voice, charismatic stage presence, and flamboyant style made him a standout figure in the pop and R&B music scenes of the era. Stewart's career began as a dancer and backup vocalist. He toured with the legendary group Shalamar, which helped him gain exposure in the music industry. In 1984, he launched his solo career with the release of his debut album, The Word Is Out. While the album didn't achieve major commercial success, it set the stage for his breakthrough with his second album, Frantic Romantic, in 1986. The album's lead single, We Don't Have to Take Our Clothes Off, became a global hit, reaching the top 5 on the Billboard Hot 100 and earning Stewart widespread recognition. The song's message of empowerment and its infectious groove resonated with audiences, making it a defining track of the 1980s. Despite his success, Stewart's career faced challenges as the music industry evolved in the late 1980s and early 1990s. He continued to record and perform, but he struggled to replicate the commercial heights of We Don't Have to Take Our Clothes Off. In the early 1990s, Stewart was diagnosed with HIV, a disease that was still heavily stigmatized and poorly understood at the time. He kept his diagnosis private, continuing to work on music and perform when possible. Jermaine Stewart passed away on March 17, 1997, at the age of 39 due to complications from AIDS. His death was a tragic loss to the music world and a reminder of the devastating impact of the AIDS epidemic on the artistic community. In the years since his passing, Stewart's music has been rediscovered by new generations of fans, and We Don't Have to Take Our Clothes Off remains a beloved classic, often featured in movies, TV shows, and playlists celebrating the 1980s. 10. David Cole.
I'm more precise, to the point I'm nice. The music takes control, your heart and soul unfold.
Was a talented musician, songwriter, and producer best known as one half of the groundbreaking production and songwriting duo C plus C Music Factory, alongside Robert Clipples. Born on August 3, 1962, in Johnson City, Tennessee, Cole was a key figure in the dance and house music scenes of the late 1980s and early 1990s. His innovative production techniques and ability to craft infectious beats helped define the sound of an era, making him one of the most influential figures in dance music. Cole's contributions to C plus C Music Factory were immense. His skills as a keyboardist and arranger brought a unique sonic texture to their music, blending house, hip-hop, and pop influences into a sound that was both fresh and irresistible. The duo's work not only shaped the dance music landscape, but also influenced countless artists and producers who followed. Despite his professional success, Cole's life was tragically cut short. In the early 1990s, he was diagnosed with HIV, a disease that was still heavily stigmatized and poorly understood at the time. Cole continued to work on music, but his health declined as the disease progressed. He passed away on January 24, 1995, at the age of 32. His death was a profound loss to the music industry and a reminder of the devastating impact of the AIDS epidemic on the artistic community. 11. Frankie Knuckles, often referred to as the godfather of house music, was a legendary DJ, producer, and remixer whose groundbreaking work in the 1980s and 1990s helped define and popularize house music, a genre that has since become a global phenomenon. Born on January 18, 1955, in the Bronx, New York, Knuckles was a pivotal figure in the development of dance music, and his influence continues to resonate across the industry. Knuckles' journey into music began in the vibrant club scene of New York City, where he worked as a DJ alongside his close friend Larry Levon at the iconic club The Gallery. In 1977, Knuckles moved to Chicago, where he became the resident DJ at The Warehouse, a club that would later give house music its name. At The Warehouse, Knuckles developed a unique sound by blending disco, soul, funk, and electronic music, creating a high-energy, rhythmic style that captivated audiences and laid the foundation for house music. As a producer, Knuckles was equally influential. He worked on tracks like Your Love and The Whistle Song, which became classics in the house music canon. His remixes for artists such as Michael Jackson, Diana Ross, and Chaka Khan brought his signature sound to a wider audience, earning him widespread acclaim and solidify his status as a pioneer in the genre. Despite his success, Knuckles faced personal challenges, including health issues. In 2008, he revealed that he was living with HIV, a diagnosis he had kept private for many years. Knuckles continued to perform and create music, but his health declined in the years that followed. He passed away on March 31st, 2014 at the age of 59. His death was a profound loss to the music world, and tributes poured in from artists, fans, and industry figures who recognize his unparalleled contributions to dance music. 12.
The only thing that's missing is you belong with me.
Tony Thompson was a highly talented drummer best known for his work with some of the most iconic bands and artists of the 1970s and 1980s, including Chic, Power Station, and Led Zeppelin. Born on November 15, 1954, in New York City, Thompson's powerful and precise drumming style made him one of the most sought-after session musicians of his time. His contributions to disco, rock, and pop music have left an enduring legacy, though his life was tragically cut short by cancer in 2003. Thompson's rise to fame began in the late 1970s when he joined the disco-funk band Chic, led by Nile Rodgers and Bernard Edwards. As the drummer for Chic, Thompson played on some of the era's most iconic tracks, including Le Freak, Good Times, and Dance, Dance, Dance. His tight, groove-oriented drumming was a key element of the band's sound, helping to define the disco movement and influencing countless musicians across genres. The bass line from Good Times famously inspired Queen's Another One Bites the Dust and the Sugar Hill Gang's Rapper's Delight, cementing Thompson's impact on music history. In the 1980s, Thompson expanded his reach by joining the supergroup Power Station, which featured Robert Palmer, Andy Taylor, and John Taylor of Duran Duran, and Bernard Edwards of Chic. Power Station's self-titled debut album, released in 1985, included hits like Some Like a Hot and a cover of T-Rex's Get It On Bang a Gong. Thompson's dynamic drumming was a driving force behind the band's success, showcasing his versatility and ability to adapt to different styles. Thompson's talent also caught the attention of rock legends. In 1985, he was invited to join Led Zeppelin for their performance at Live Aid, filling in for the late John Bonham. Although the reunion was short-lived, it was a testament to Thompson's skill and reputation as one of the best drummers in the business. Tragically, Thompson's life was cut short when he was diagnosed with renal cell carcinoma, a form of kidney cancer. Despite his illness, he continued to perform and record until his health no longer allowed it. Tony Thompson passed away on November 12, 2003, at the age of 48. 13.
If I heard even more than me.
Luther Vandross was one of the most iconic and beloved R&B singers of all time, known for his velvety smooth voice, romantic ballads, and timeless hits. Born on April 20th, 1951, in New York City, Vandross rose to fame in the 1980s and became a defining voice of soul music, earning him the nickname the Velvet Voice. His music, characterized by an emotional depth and impeccable vocal delivery, resonated with fans around the world, making him one of the best-selling artists of his era. Vandross began his career as a backup singer and session vocalist, working with artists like David Bowie, Donna Summer, and Chic. His big break came in 1981 with the release of his debut solo album, Never Too Much, which included the title track that became an instant classic. Over the next 2 decades, Vandross released a string of successful albums, including Forever, For Always, For Love, 1982, Give Me the Reason, 1986, and Power of Love, 1991. Hits like Here and Now, Dance with My Father, and Endless Love, a duet with Mariah Carey, solidified his status as a legend in the music industry. Despite his professional success, Vandross faced personal challenges, including struggles with his weight and health. In 2003, he suffered a debilitating stroke that left him in a coma for 2 months. Although he eventually regained consciousness, the stroke significantly impacted his ability to speak and perform. He made a few public appearances after his recovery, but was largely out of the spotlight. Luther Vandross passed away on July 1st, 2005, at the age of 54. The official cause of death was complications from a stroke, but rumors about his HIV status persisted for years. These rumors were never confirmed by Vandross or his family, and they remain speculative. Vandross was a private person, and he chose not to publicly address the speculation about his health. 14. Billy Preston was a legendary musician, singer, and songwriter whose extraordinary talent on the keyboard and his collaborations with some of the biggest names in music history made him a beloved figure in the industry. Born on September 2nd, 1946 in Houston, Texas, and raised in Los Angeles, California, Preston was a child prodigy who began playing piano at the age of 3. By the time he was a teenager, he was already performing with gospel greats like Mahalia Jackson and Andre Crouch. Preston's career took off in the 1960s when he became one of the few musicians to be credited as a collaborator with the Beatles. He played keyboards on some of their most iconic tracks, including Get Back, Let Be, and Don't Let Me Down, earning him the nickname the Fifth Beatle. His energetic performances and musical chemistry with the band helped shape the sound of their later work. As a solo artist, Preston achieved significant success in the 1970s with hits like Out of Space, Will It Go Round in Circles, and Nothing from Nothing. His music blended funk, soul, and rock, and his infectious energy made him a favorite on the charts and in live performances. He also became the first musical guest on Saturday Night Live in 1975, further cementing his place in pop culture history. Despite his professional achievements, Preston faced personal struggles, including battles with substance abuse and health issues. In the 1990s, he was diagnosed with kidney disease, which required ongoing treatment. In the early 2000s, Preston revealed that he was also living with HIV, a diagnosis he had kept private for many years. His health continued to decline, and he passed away on June 6, 2006, at the age of 59. Billy Preston's legacy is one of immense talent, innovation, and resilience. His contributions to music, both as a solo artist and as collaborator, have left an indelible mark on the industry. His ability to bridge genres and connect with audiences across generations is a testament to his artistry and passion for music. Though his life was marked by challenges, Preston's music continues to inspire and uplift, reminding us of the power of creativity and the enduring impact of a true musical genius. 15. Melvin Franklin. Born David Melvin English on October 12, 1942, in Montgomery, Alabama, was a legendary bass singer and a founding member of the iconic Motown group The Temptations. Known for his deep, resonant voice and charismatic stage presence, Franklin was a cornerstone of the group's signature sound and one of the most recognizable figures in R&B and soul music. His contributions to The Temptations helped define the Motown era and left an indelible mark on the music industry. Franklin's journey with The Temptations began in the early 1960s when he joined Otis Williams, Paul Williams, Eddie Kendricks, and Elbridge Al Bryant to form the group. With Franklin's rich bass vocals anchoring their harmonies, The Temptations became one of Motown's most successful acts, producing timeless hits like My Girl, Ain't Too Proud to Beg, Papa Was a Rolling Stone, and Just My Imagination Running Away With Me. Franklin's voice added depth and soul to the group's sound, making their music unforgettable. Beyond his vocal talents, Franklin was known for his warm personality and dedication to the group. He was one of the longest-serving members of The Temptations, remaining with the group through numerous lineup changes and evolving musical styles. His commitment to the group's legacy and his ability to connect with audiences made him a beloved figure in the world of music. However, Franklin's life was not without challenges. In the late 1970s, he began experiencing health issues, including diabetes and a rare autoimmune disease that affected his muscles. Despite these struggles, he continued to perform with the Temptations, demonstrating his resilience and passion for music. In the early 1990s, Franklin's health declined further, and he was forced to retire from touring. Tragically, Melvin Franklin passed away on February 23, 1995, at the age of 52. While the official cause of death was complications from a series of seizures, it was later revealed that Franklin had been living with AIDS, a fact that was not widely known during his lifetime. His death was a profound loss to the music world and a reminder of the devastating impact of the AIDS epidemic on the artistic community. 16. Ricky Wilson was the innovative and influential guitarist for the American rock band B-52s, known for his distinctive playing style and contributions to the group's quirky, danceable sound. Born on March 19, 1953, in Athens, Georgia, Wilson was a key figure in the development of the band's unique blend of new wave, punk, and surf rock, which helped define the alternative music scene of the late 1970s and 1980s. Wilson's guitar work was characterized by its unconventional tunings, jangly rhythms, and surf-inspired riffs, which became a hallmark of the B-52 sound. Alongside his sister Cindy Wilson vocals, Fred Schneider vocals, Kate Pearson vocals, and Keith Strickland drums, Ricky helped create some of the band's most iconic hits, including Rock Lobster, Planet Claire, and Private Idaho. His playing was both playful and inventive, perfectly complementing the band's eccentric aesthetic and quirky lyrics. The B-52s quickly gained a cult following and became pioneers of the new wave movement, with Ricky's guitar work playing a central role in their success. His ability to blend surf rock with punk and pop influences gave the band a sound that was entirely their own, influencing countless artists in the years that followed. Tragically, Ricky Wilson's life and career were cut short when he was diagnosed with AIDS in the early 1980s. At the time, the disease was still highly stigmatized, and there were few treatment options available. Wilson kept his diagnosis private, and even his bandmates were unaware of the severity of his condition until shortly before his death. He passed away on October 12, 1985, at the age of 32. Ricky Wilson's death was a devastating loss for the B-52s and the music world at large. The band took a hiatus following his passing, but they eventually returned to recording and performing, with Keith Strickland switching from drums to guitar to honor Ricky's legacy. Wilson's influence on the band's sound remained evident, and his spirit continued to inspire their music. 17. Michael Callan was a pioneering singer, songwriter, and AIDS activist whose work in the 1980s and early 1990s left a profound impact on both music and the fight against HIV/AIDS. Born on April 11, 1955, in Rising Sun, Indiana, Callan was a gifted musician with a passion for social justice. His life and career were defined by his unwavering commitment to raising awareness about AIDS, advocating for the rights of people living with HIV, and using his music as a tool for activism and healing. Callan's journey as an activist began after he was diagnosed with AIDS in 1982, at a time when the disease was still poorly understood and heavily stigmatized. Refusing to be silenced, Callan became one of the earliest and most vocal advocates for people living with HIV or AIDS. He co-founded several influential organizations, including the People with AIDS Coalition and the Community Research Initiative, which played a crucial role in advancing research and treatment for the disease. Callan was also a key figure in the creation of the Denver Principles, a manifesto that empowered people living with HIV/AIDS to take control of their own health and fight against discrimination. As a musician, Callan used his artistry to address the AIDS crisis and give voice to the experiences of those affected by the epidemic. He was a founding member of the Flirtations, an a cappella group that blended humor, politics, and heartfelt storytelling into their music. The group's performances often included songs about love, loss, and resilience in the face of the AIDS crisis, making them a powerful force for advocacy and community building. Callan also released solo work, including his critically acclaimed 1990 album Purple Heart, which featured songs like Love, Don't Need a Reason, and Living in Wartime. These tracks captured the emotional and political realities of living with AIDS, offering both solace and a call to action. His music was deeply personal yet universally resonant, earning him a devoted following and widespread respect. Despite his declining health, Callen remained active in his advocacy and music until the end of his life. He passed away on December 27, 1993, at the age of 38. His death was a profound loss to the LGBTQ+ community, the AIDS activist movement, and the world of music. 18. Clive Stevens was a British jazz and R&B saxophonist, flutist, and composer whose work in the 1970s and 1980s blended jazz, funk, and electronic music into a unique and innovative sound. Born on March 9, 1949 in London, England, Stevens was a versatile and talented musician who made significant contributions to the jazz fusion and contemporary jazz scenes. His ability to seamlessly merge genres and experiment with new sounds made him a standout figure in the world of music. Stevens began his career in the late 1960s, playing with various jazz and R&B groups in the UK. He gained recognition for his work with the band Camel, a progressive rock group, where he contributed saxophone and flute to their 1977 album Rain Dances. His playing added a distinctive texture to the band's sound, showcasing his ability to adapt to different musical styles. In the late 1970s, Stevens embarked on a solo career, releasing albums that highlighted his skills as a composer and multi-instrumentalist. His 1979 album Mind Transplant is considered one of his most notable works, featuring a blend of jazz, funk, and electronic elements. The album's title track, with its infectious groove and intricate arrangements, became a favorite among jazz fusion enthusiasts. Stevens continued to explore new musical territories throughout the 1980s, collaborated with artists across genres, and experimenting with synthesizers and electronic production techniques. His work during this period reflected his willingness to push boundaries and embrace innovation, making him a respected figure in the contemporary jazz scene. Tragically, Stevens' life and career were cut short when he passed away on November 11, 1991, at the age of 42. While the exact circumstances of his death are not widely documented, it occurred during a time when the AIDS epidemic was devastating the artistic community, and it is believed that Stevens may have been among those affected by the disease. 19. Peter Allen was a flamboyant and charismatic Australian singer, songwriter, and performer whose music and larger-than-life personality made him a beloved figure in the entertainment world. Born Peter Richard Woolnow on February 10, 1944, in Tetterfield, New South Wales, Allen's career spanned decades and genres, earning him acclaim as a dynamic live performer and a gifted songwriter. His music blended pop, cabaret, and theatrical elements, and his songs have been performed by some of the biggest names in music. Allen's career began in the 1960s when he formed the duo The Allen Brothers with Chris Bell. The pair gained attention in Australia before moving to Hong Kong, where they were discovered by Judy Garland. This connection led to Allen's marriage to Garland's daughter, Liza Minnelli, in 1967, and his introduction to the international stage. Although the marriage ended in 1974, Allen and Minnelli remained close friends and collaborators throughout their lives. As a solo artist, Allen achieved success in the 1970s and 1980s with hits like I Go to Rio, I Honestly Love You, popularized by Olivia Newton-John, and Don't Cry Out Loud. His energetic performances, often featuring sequin costumes and piano acrobatics, made him a favorite on stage and television. Allen's music was characterized by its catchy melodies, heartfelt lyrics, and a sense of theatricality that reflected his vibrant personality. In addition to his solo work, Allen was a prolific songwriter, penning songs for artists like Frank Sinatra, Melissa Manchester, and Rita Coolidge. His ability to craft memorable tunes earned him a Grammy Award for I Honestly Love You, and cemented his reputation as a talented and versatile songwriter. Allen's personal life was as colorful as his career. He was openly bisexual at a time when such openness was rare, and he became an icon for the LGBTQ+ community. His song, Tenterfield Saddler, a poignant ballad about his grandfather in his hometown, remains one of his most enduring and personal works. Tragically, Peter Allen's life was cut short when he passed away on June 18, 1992, at the age of 48. The cause of death was complications from AIDS, a disease that claimed the lives of many artists during the epidemic. Allen's death was a profound loss to the music world, but his legacy lives on through his music and the impact he made on those who knew him. 20. Paul Jabara was a multifaceted talent. Singer, songwriter, actor, and producer whose work left a lasting impact on the music and entertainment industries. Born on January 31st, 1948 in Brooklyn, New York, Jabbar was a creative force whose contributions spanned disco, pop, and film. He is best known for writing some of the most iconic songs of the 1970s and 1980s, including Donna Summer's Last Dance and No More Tears, Enough is Enough, a duet between Summer and Barbra Streisand. These songs not only defined an era, but also earned Jabbar critical acclaim, including an Academy Award and a Grammy. Tragically, Paul Jabbar's life was cut short by complications from AIDS. He passed away on September 29, 1992, at the age of 44. His death was a significant loss to the music and LGBTQ+ communities, but his legacy endures through his timeless songs and the impact he made on popular culture